Cybernation Uncensored.
Alrighty. Hello in TV land. I believe we are live. Let us know if you could see us, if you can hear us. Hope we've been lucky avoiding the mute gods. Last couple of times. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. But as we are every single time at the start of the first Friday of the month. I am the middle talking head, Alex, your perpetually disheveled host, here with my illustrious co-host in Talk Nerdy to Me, where we do all things nerd, tech, and tabletop. You've got my name and who and what I am, so we're gonna go over off to I guess what my screen, according to my thumb, my screen left, and Gomi.
All right. Sorry, we're switched around on my screen, so it really doesn't matter at this point. My reality is different. I am Gomi. I'm in a nice sweaty Australian at the moment because it's a nice warm day here. And I am the tech head of our illustrious group, and I'll hand on to you.
Hi, I'm Paulette Anderson, aka Belmuerte, and I handle the tabletop part.
All right. So, yeah, I also apologize if you hear me shriek in pain. I have a new kitten. I was selected by the cat distribution service. She was asleep a minute ago. Now she's awake and deciding that my bracelet is a great thing to play with. Stop that. So up here now. Anyway, so Gomi, kick us off. Start us off with the news this week.
A little bit of genetic engineering, but also relating to your cat. They have discovered the secret, finally, after 60 years, to do with orange cats. And mainly why they are orange.
Oh, so not to do with like the shared brain cell, because I have to fight my ginger cat for the ginger brain cell at any given time.
The quote in the article I've got to give you is, orange cats have a hilarious reputation for not being the brightest of their species. I'll leave that anecdote with you, but the genes for the orange hair stuff are slightly bigger than the other genes, but they've managed to sort of patch it up and worked out why the modelling happens in certain ways and that sort of stuff. So I thought it was kind of interesting. It's also orange catness, so Yeah,
so it's not just like the ginger mutation. It's like,
well, this is the ginger mutation. They've managed to map it out and work out some details around it and look at how it occurs and how it doesn't occur. And it's tied into the X chromosome of the cat. So for a female to be full ginger, it's got to be both. Mm-hmm. Because it is, I suppose they call it a recessive mutation or whatever they want to pitch it as. But, something lighthearted to warm us up with a little bit of genetic talk. Well, I've got to soften you up for the super exciting stuff, which is the extrajudicial assassination of a CEO.
Yeah.
Sorry, we talked about a moment ago. Health insurance and being what it is in the US. I was completely surprised by this when it happened 3 days ago. But I suppose if people are unhappy enough, they'll take drastic action. One of the quotes I wonderfully saw online was, "Those who make peaceful change impossible will make violent change inevitable." And this seems to be what's happened. As a bit of a cyberpunk genre piece, the guy had a silenced weapon, set up, waited, stepped out, dropped in 3 shots from behind, and then disappeared off on an e-bike.
Yeah.
So they're still at large, still doing their thing, as far as I know. And it'll be interesting to see how this sort of story plays out. But I look at this stuff and go, oh, what's going to happen next? And already the first step is starting to happen. A lot of medical companies' profile pictures on company sites have been removed. So you don't have images to do with the individuals who run these organizations. Mm-hmm. that still leaves the entirety of stuff on social media and such, and other areas of digital footprints. Oh, my cat is complaining.
Wow.
But, we have a dog here who's over for a visit. So, but yeah, I just thought it was an interesting sort of take on that whole sort of thing.
Yeah. Did you because I've been following the story closely myself because I was once and no longer, thankfully, a client of United Healthcare. There's they talk about type 1 diabetic, and they repeatedly tried to give reasons to not cover my insulin. They never covered my blood testing, my the strips to test my blood glucose, which comes down to $200 out of pocket for a count of 100, about twice a month. With how because I not to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm active. I'm a fairly healthy diabetic. Just because I test my blood sugar frequently, I count my carbs, all that stuff. But they are also trying to make me pay out of pocket for my insulin pump, which for a box of 10 can be upwards of like $6,000. So they're extorting people for
and in terms of insurance companies, from the stats I've seen about US-based insurance companies, they're actually the worst at about 32% denial rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're denying about a third of their customers' care, and it's with the hitman, whomever it was. There's also what I saw popping up with the news cycle like late last night was he actually had messages written on his bullet casings, which was it was deny, depose, defund, which is I don't know the title of the book, but it's based on like a book about how this is how insurance is
how the medical industry works in terms of that sort of stuff, the insurance side.
Yeah, so it is the whole thing is extremely dystopian, extremely cyberpunk, and the online discourse around it has been nothing but absolute schadenfreude. It is not going to endorse violence of any kind on this show, because everyone's people at the end of the day. But to quote, I can't remember the villain's name from Doctor Strange, but the bill always comes due. Mordo, yeah, which seems extremely apropos, considering what we're looking at. But also to quoting my grandpa, I'm sure he got it from somewhere else, but live your life, hoping that live your life hoping that people will mourn you when you die. This individual ran his life, his business in a way where we are seeing the exact opposite. It is it comes down to a thing. It is life is cheap, living costs a fortune, and people are not going to take it for long.
I wonder how many authors will be using this in books or tabletop or whatever.
Well, another extension into the whole tabletop cyber assassination angle is Google Map navigation ends tragically after 3 men drive off an unfinished bridge. Yeah.
I should be laughing, but that oh my god. I thought it was bad when like oof. Okay.
Oh, look, I've had experiences where I've seen car accidents and stuff.
Yeah.
And it can be horrific, or, I used to work on top of a mountain and one person swerved to avoid a deer and plowed into the side of the mountain. If they'd flicked their wheel the other way, they would have gone off. And so, it's tragic. But in terms of what you can apply to your game and where you could take it, this becomes a mechanism for the hackers to conduct cyber assassinations.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like I've seen that somewhere in like some procedural where like someone like hacked someone's because it's not the first time this has happened. There was I think it was at the proprietary iPhone map system was leading people on a merry chase and then just throwing them into Mount Doom. Like just the sending them so far afield and putting them into like hazardous locations because their maps are incomplete. So it's a
there's also a person in Japan who goes around with a trolley filled with about 100 phones and is a walking traffic jam. And when I say walking, he's walking along with his little pile of phones. And I think there's another guy in China who has them all mounted up on a big thing in front of his bike as he rides around, so he can play Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
on all of his phones.
I've seen that guy pop up. Yeah, it's so wild. But
even just on the Pokemon Go side of things, they're using all that tracking data from that game to feed AI engines to work out more geospatial kind of information around the world, which, interesting application, but not my favorite first step.
Yeah.
But in terms of great steps, there's a short film called 7658474, Unification. It's a Star Trek fan film. It's got the approval of William Shatner.
Okay.
And what they've done, the combination of AI deepfakes, prosthetics, and really good character acting. Like I saw an interview with the actor talking about what he was doing, and he was physically copying Shatner's mannerisms for Kirk and playing that. And it's set just after Kirk's death in Star Trek Undiscovered. Is it Undiscovered Country or is it, Generations, where he dies off. And there's not a word of dialogue spoken. But with one or two very minor glitches on the graphical fidelity, you believe that this is Kirk. And they've brought in like a lot of the original actors and stuff and whatnot to just really enhance it. And for a 8-9 minute production, by the end of it, it's like, I'm not a huge Trekkie, but I enjoyed the series. It's like that was beautiful storytelling without words. So if you can find it, I would strongly recommend it.
Okay.
Let's see if I can copy that link. And I'll just inadvertently drop that here for those of you who want to check it out. But definitely, I caught it off a review from The Critical Drinker, and then some other people talked about it. I thought, okay, I'll have a look at this thing.
Yeah.
And see how good it is.
It's one of those, like, you can not be a fan of something, but like you can honestly, I've been turned fan, like, from a kind of like it exists to a fan by like fan productions, because it is grassroots, like heart and soul, and it's and when it comes together really well, and especially like,
you have to appreciate the passion and the craft that goes into it, and that's the thing. It's that's the really big thing about carrying it forward. But in a weird sort of sidestep, Shatner was actually ghostwritten a series called Tech War back in the 90s. And in one of the characters in that, they had this little guy going like this, and he was controlling this human puppet. And so this human puppet was acting out all the bits and pieces, talking on a vid phone call, whereas the villain was behind it puppet mastering the person to control what they were saying, how they were saying it, that kind of stuff. So these are little elements you can add to your game to sort of spice things up, to fake the illusion, that kind of thing. So what else have I got on my list of human stupidity here? Sorry, AI research. Let's see. I assume you've all heard of Blue Sky, the social media app that's supposedly blowing up and stuff. The numbers are still minuscule. The only thing of note with regards to them is the fact that they, the service hasn't been up for long. They've already had 1 million posts scraped to feed the AI behemoth. But they're trying to implement a lot of the positive things that people want to see in social media. So we'll see how that goes over the next year or two. Because, when Facebook came out in the early days, everybody was singing its praises and saying it was great and glorious and whatnot. But every time you get a new piece of tech, everybody's going to say it's the solution to everything. But the reality is that you really want to be able to take your stuff with you and migrate from system to system to find what suits yourself. or connect with multiple systems so you can track all sorts of things, or not rely on any systems whatsoever. Be an anarchist of sorts.
MySpace, Facebook, and then
MySpace, and prior to MySpace was GeoCities.
Yeah. Then because then it the whole the several attempted exodi, I guess the plural of Exodus. But the because I mean, it's a certain someone came into piloting Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and it's well, it's been like being a passenger in the movie of Airplane. And so like it's no surprise people want to jump ship. I'm pardon to say getting spicy. She started chasing her own tail in my lap, which meant I was just suffering. Because there was Hive and a few other like Twitter X kind of knockoff things.
There was one called, was it Vines, which was really popular for about 2 years and then just died.
And then TikTok replaced it, more or less.
Pretty much. Yeah. But the ideas that were baked into Vines have been stolen by all the other social media platforms.
Yeah. The Vine boom is still like a super popular soundbite to use in short form video editing. But yeah, no, that's I know it's a lot of artists. I know I've moved to Blue Sky, especially with X's whole like the AI farming, like image farming thing. Yes, the people I've known from amateur to like indie to like professional people working Blizzard et cetera.
Yeah,
they're just going like nah, it's understandable. That's your livelihood.
I mean, if you're I suppose a content creator or a larger creative and you have the means to monitor and maintain multiple social media accounts, maybe you do. But if you're just jumping on there to check out a few things, watch follow your favoured people or discover people of a similar variety, then maybe it's a shift. But it's one of many possible solutions is what I'm trying to get at. And it may not be the best solution. I'm certain we'll go through a number of iterations with high-profile successes and failures probably in the same company over the course of time. So, that's on that side of it. Let's see. There's been an inquiry within Australia at the moment that finds Amazon, Google and Meta are pillaging culture, data and creativity to train AI. As if we didn't know this already. But governments are finally starting to cotton onto this bullshit.
I was appreciating the use of the word pillage in the year 2024.
Well, it is a pillaging because if you think of this new space that we're in is a digital land, a beautiful land, my land, our land to share. I trust your inevitable betrayal. Sorry, I can't remember the quote verbatim, but you get the idea. Basically there's Australia saying, well, we're going to need standalone AI legislation. Tech companies are basically pirating all the stuff and leaving Australians empty-handed. AI models should be considered high risk and subject to transparency and accountability requirements. Knowing how these models are built, sharing the weights, which is what makes them work, is not going to make them particularly transparent because it's kind of a useless thing to do. It's like showing all the steps of your mathematical calculation to work out A versus B. And in the 20 steps in between, you go, that makes no sense to me, especially if you don't understand the maths or the amount of maths going on. So, let's see. Australia wants to set rules to protect Australians and not serve Silicon Valley. Sorry, Silicon Valley. You're not my favourite group of people.
They're not my favourite either. I know. They're in my state.
Yeah, I know it's not your fault. Don't take it personally.
No, absolutely not.
But Amazon's refusing to disclose on how it uses the data it's recorded from Alexa devices, Kindle or Audible to train its AI.
That's frightening.
Well, the thing is, they're able to hack an Alexa by pointing a laser pointer at it. Sorry, in the other forums that I read online, this is the kind of things that I encounter from time to time. Google refused to answer questions on what it did with its user data to train AI. Meta actually admit to scraping Australian Facebook and Instagram users since 2007 in preparation for the AI boom. So they're ahead of the curve at this point. Because like all that data is out there, you know, and like as a person, how can you give consent to allow your stuff to be used on AI when it's a technology that does not exist at that point in time? So, you know, let's see. Then Meta proceeded to dodge questions around WhatsApp and Messenger and stuff. I know with the Apple phones, I don't know if either of you are Apple phone users, but even if the phone's off, it's still grabbing data. When the phone's on, of course, it's grabbing a lot more data. It's talking back to base. I think Facebook or Meta have said that they make use of the microphone to send critical information back to better user experience, something bullshit. Which is, and Android and Google do the same thing of basically monitoring your conversations. Like I remember being in an office one time, I was talking with the techs about something in particular, and a notification around the stuff to do with 3D printing stuff showed up on a colleague's newsfeed, and he doesn't give a fuck about 3D printing. You know, that kind of stuff in that sort of sideways coming at you kind of thing. And a lot of the reports I'm reading at the moment are things like you won't believe the amount of data that they take, how they build your profiles, how they track you. Basically, every one of these sort of phones has a unique identifier, a unique marker that can ever be linked back to. And so given that there's currently exabytes worth of data produced on the internet every day, it's a day or a year, it doesn't matter, but a fuckload. That chunk about yourself, do you really want it out there? And this is the point that I probably should actually start pitching a data brokerage service to clean your record and remove people tracking you. I don't have one. Go out and research your own. I'll leave that up to other people who are doing this sort of stuff instead of myself. But basically, yeah, it also places artists at higher risk because the AIs are basically stealing their shit. But that brings me to why art actually matters. And this is a study by neuroscience. I just found this in wondering. But they were doing ECGs, monitoring the brain activity of people looking at the painting of a girl with a pearl earring, classic piece of painterly artwork and stuff, and comparing it to the original, them looking at a replication or a similar thing. And the thing is that people who are viewing actual creative artwork, and I know this when I went and saw Monet's stuff, like actually stepping up to the artwork and having a good close look at it, I could see the brush strokes and the paint strokes to create texture and tone that you can't get in a 2D image. I know, I teach this shit, so you can't get it. But you get a stronger emotional reaction to the real thing. You get a deeper self-reflection on what's going on. And so all this is a higher level of engagement and a better response for actual art and artists. And this is what art does versus what AI cannot do. So, sorry, I'll get a little ranty there.
Oh, that's absolutely, yeah.
But even in a similar vein, I'm going to be pushing for the comeback of physical media, records, tapes, all that sort of stuff. For some bizarre reason, my daughter has decided the cassette tape is a wonderful form of music. We got a recorder. We set it up. We're taking stuff that I've got stored digitally and playing it and putting it onto tape so that she can walk around with her Walkman and listen to the bloody thing. It's about, 30, 40 years out of date, but, it's
I guess it's the same, people of are kind of like each generational bracket just going and doing vinyl. Also, a lot of my nephew's in his early 20s. He loves vinyl, so that because I guess it has that kind of audio tactile sense to it. So I get tape.
It's not just the physical act of setting up the disc or the vinyl, the record, putting the needle, closing the lid, and sitting and listening to it. That is an act. That is a conscious activity. Whereas you go
ritual,
beep boop, listen, and then you go do something else. It's a thing. Like yesterday, I went round to a local place and I picked up a copy of Jeff somebody or other's War of the Worlds. the 80s copy of War of the Worlds with all the background theatrical music and stuff. And I actually spent yesterday listening to it. Great. So there's something to be said for physical media. And you look at some of the early cyberpunk genre pieces, they had record players and that as antique pieces that people would have in the background as retro tech. And I'm looking at these days going, it's making a bit of a comeback because with the shift in companies like Sony saying you don't own your back catalogue of games or media or whatnot, people are now making the calls out of line saying, protect your physical media, start getting stuff as copies that you physically have to basically, have it in a way that nobody else can take it from you. Or they could take it from your cold, dead hand.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
They just can't retroactively, or like, they can't just slip in the dead of night and take it back. That's
if quite simply, as somebody said in response to Sony, if paying for a game to own it means it's not yours, then piracy is not theft.
Yeah.
So take it or leave it as you choose. What other crap do I have to talk about? I've got to make sure I hit all the points here. Oh, undersea cable cutting. This is a weird one that's been happening around Europe.
Ooh.
So, like, the entire backbone of our internet is not satellites. It's cables running along the sea floor.
Yeah.
Basically, let's go massive fucking extension cords. The first couple failed because we hadn't worked out the tech yet. But these days we've got fibre optic that, if we lose it, the internet's basically cranked down to a 10th, maybe a 50th of its capabilities. So I know there's been a couple of cases around Scandinavia where it's either sea cables dragging or a cat in the back of the thing having fun. But yeah,
she's chewing on something. I don't know what it is. Keep going.
Yeah, I'll keep going. It's okay. But basically, dragging their anchors along the floor that inadvertently rip a cable.
Oh no!
This is the thing that, the implication is to provide Russia with deniability. It's a Chinese vessel that did this, and when they went and filmed it, the boat's going along at like a third of its speed or something, really slow. And then it stops for a while, spins around for an hour or two, and then heads off at full speed. So when they went to investigate and actually film the side of it, one of the anchors had been really busted up and wrecked, which, an anchor is a fairly good thing to drag across the sea floor to destroy stuff. European officials have been crying sabotage, that kind of thing. But I know Cyberpunk 2020 had a seaborne adventure. I can't remember what is it, Subnautica, of a similar sort of thing. So you can set that up as a either an event that happens or a hook in for the players to go do dastardly deeds, whatever you want, play underwater, potentially drown themselves, all the fun stuff. So I always look at this with the mind of having, how could I use this in my game, basically. But that just leaves me to crap on about humble bundles and bundles of holding. We should have sort of had time. I picked up an Ursula Le Guin bundle, classic literature by one of the masters. But I saw 2 sets of TTRPG audio compendium with sounds, background music. It's about 1.5 gigs worth of audio effects, which is a bloody sizable library. So if you want to get that for your own personal game, seems pretty good. Free Leagues has a whole bunch of miscellaneous games, none of which I can actually name. Oh no, Mutant Year Zero Codebook, Tales of the Loop, etc. For those of you who know them. Then other stuff as well. And then of course Shadowrun.
Any Bison?
Any what?
Vison?
Vison.
I thought that was pronounced Vesson.
Or Vesson? And Morkborg. I love Morkborg Pirates.
I haven't seen
we
I think I
love
might
Mark
have
Burke on this channel.
I thought I saw some more book earlier this year, but I haven't seen it at the moment. So if you do happen to notice there, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Gee whiz, that happens. They also got a maps extravaganza, which is City Designer, Dungeon Designer 3, all the stuff you use to produce your own maps and that sort of stuff. And those guys have been around for ages, but I've already got that bundle, so I sort of skipped over it. Let's see. If you're into Forged in the Dark, there's a bundle holding with a pack of that until almost Christmas. Then there's a Shadowrun double pack, which is 4th edition, which is not the current edition, but hey, it's still a lot of Shadowrun ideas, plus a whole pile of stuff for the sprawl. Then Cornucopia Spire, 2 ones I don't really know. Torg I do know. And something called Slugbuster, which, again, I have no idea what these things are because I haven't had a chance to play them. I've been too busy organising D&D group for work and also running Cyberpunk. So
Yeah, it's always I'll always advocate trying out new systems when you can. The humble bundles are great for that. As they picked up
humble bundles and bundles of holding are both excellent to try something new. It's relatively low cost, but you get a pack of stuff and you can read through it and go, oh yeah, that's cool. Or
so it'll allow you to wet your beak on a budget. But yeah, that's especially for free league stuff, because we love free league here at Cybernation Uncensored. But in with tabletop fresh on the mind, Paulette, let's go over to your segment.
If you're in Sydney, Australia, December 15th, or New York City, check out Dungeons & Dragons, the 20-Sided Tavern. It's an interactive adventure. It's live on stage, and you get to help change the play, which would be pretty neat. So interactive, gameplay on stage. So check those out. Like I said, Sydney, Australia, and New York City.
Love me some tabletop improv comedy theater.
I'll save the happy for last. Quick question. So, will Elon Musk buy D&D from Hasbro? Do you think it's going to happen?
I'm going to go with what happened to Twitter and the dead parrot sketch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's going back to what you said, Gum, about physically owning your shit. It's one of those things where, especially if Elon Musk follows through on his fucking high on ozone android brain memeing, get what you like in D&D and get it physical. Because we've already seen in D&D Beyond with it, they'll go out and edit things in the back end.
What is it? Hasbro's kind of moving them that into the digital realm, and from what a colleague of mine has got, said, don't bother buying the 2024 book because it all pushes you towards the digital end. And honestly, not just ignoring the D&D game systems, there are replications and retro clones and versions of that. But to learn your skills as a game master, you can do that with any game. And there are a lot of really effective resources to learn the ropes as you go along. Justin Alexander's So You Want to Be a Game Master is a brilliant opening resource in that regard, just to sort of get it going. And hell, you get going, you start running games, you may well completely fuck it up. That's fine. That happens. You move on. What I'm getting to.
Start somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow. And the positive is Hasbro stock went up when he made those comments. So there was a positive.
Yes,
it went up significantly too.
And I'm personally not a big fan of how they've been changing things for 2024, but also I've been the forever DM for 5e since 5e came out, so I see a 5e based thing someone wants to run and I start blinking asynchronously. I'm not looking forward to play more D&D, but like it's first everyone's allowed to have their favorite game. So
Yeah.
if D&D is your favorite, and if 2024 D&D is your favorite, more power to you. And it's no matter who you are, no matter what your system is, I wouldn't wish that evil upon anybody. to have your beloved hobby be consumed by whatever the guy whose torso is the blueprint for the Cybertruck. Like you don't deserve that.
Well, he ripped most of those off from the iRobot movie, but that's another distraction again entirely. It's and look, it may cause a renaissance in other games to come to the fore. Because I remember in the early 90s, White Wolf's World of Darkness, or Vampire the Masquerade back then, was the biggest thing, even bigger than D&D for a little while. Like Paizo's Pathfinder was bigger than D&D for a little bit. You know, it may prompt change in the industry and a positive step forward.
Speaking of them, they've got a Advent giveaway going through December till December 24th. On Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram, and X. So, and then whatever product they're highlighting, they will be selling it 20% off on the day that it's highlighted. So check those out. Everyone will have a different prompt of what they want, to, like, I think today's was Dragon Battle, and whatever story gets their attention, I guess they win whatever product of the day is.
That's cool. That's a fun, like,
so it'll be a different prompt every day. It'll be neat.
No, that's a kind of like interactive marketing I like to see, especially from like narrative storytelling, TTRPG companies. I like more normalize that. Corporate
it's fun and it's giving back.
Absolutely
encouraging more interaction and that sort of stuff to go on. That's great.
It's you said you wanted to say the best the best for last.
That was the happy one.
That was the happy one.
That was the happy one.
Okay.
Good. I will say that the Elon, I have my pros and cons for if he buys D&D. There are pros, there are cons. It made the stock price go up.
It's the it's.
So hopefully there won't be layoffs this Christmas.
Yet
another round.
Surely there won't be more Pinkertons involved. That was a thing that happened. But yes, so question for the 2020 is the 20-sided tavern live only, or will they be like broadcasting it as well?
It's a live show, and then you actually with your cell phone you interact with what's going on.
So it is live broadcasted. Okay, because
it is live broadcast. It is interactive live broadcast.
I will tune in.
It's like 500 people per show.
That's really cool. Okay,
it's a large show.
Yeah,
that's why it's in 2 big cities.
Okay. If that's. Do you have anything else for us, tabletop wise?
Nope, that's it.
All right. So
look for any sales that'll come around Christmas time. There we go.
Because naturally we run the show as like the week after Black Friday and Cyber Monday happen. But if you're here on
that was a good sale.
If you're here on Cybernation, you probably know. If you're here, If not, I'm sorry. Keep it in mind for next year. To ride the coattails of the positivity train. For once, I only have good things to say in my reviews. Friends, loved ones, co-hosts, and longtime viewers of this show. I tend to be very opinionated, and I tend to be and I tend to have a great bit of candor when it comes to how I feel about things. And this past 2 weeks had 2 big surprises. Well, one less of a surprise and more just a crossing of fingers. One actually surprised me. I don't know if I'm the only one in this boat, but in the last several years, I loved Star Wars. I did like choreographed lightsaber battles for Children's Hospital of Orange County. Levels of loved Star Wars. I've got a bunch of lightsabers, a bunch of costumes. Like that was a hobby. That was my way of giving back to the community. And there became so much Star Wars, and so much of it was what I viewed as not great Star Wars. I kind of like felt deflated, demoralized, tired. It felt so samey and.
It was overused, super saturated, and you just go more of the same.
Yeah, more.
It loses that specialness. Like I remember seeing episodes 4 and 5, and then episode 6 in the cinema. Like, 4 and 5 was at a drive-in, and then 6 was in the cinema, and that was really amazing. Only ever having seen it on TV as a kid, and then when other stuff came out slowly over the decades, it was like, wow, another piece.
Yeah, now it's but then the constant stream.
Yes.
But enter Star Wars Skeleton Crew. I was not expecting a lot because it was Star Wars with kid actors, and like there's a there is a kind of, I don't want to say a stigma, but there kind of is with kid actors. Like when it's like the leading cast is primarily kids, it's usually not that great. Right, with the exception of like Goonies and Stranger Things, and I'll tell you what, Skeleton Crew is Goonies with a Star Wars coat of paint.
Wow,
and it works. It's there's 2 episodes out right now on Disney Plus. It's fun. It's you get to see a side of Star Wars you don't normally see. Right, because you had like the thing that was like the super squeaky clean like Coruscant of the original, or not of the prequel trilogy. You have like this dusty western of the original trilogy, and the whatever the fuck the sequel trilogy was. Mandalorian really brought back the western.
Well, the Mandalorian played to the western, and then Andor played to that World War II
like spy thriller.
Yeah,
which like Andor was another one that I loved because it was different, right? It's the same sense of like there's a point like when like in the whole Marvel craze, I was having superhero fatigue because there was all the Marvel movies followed the same fucking formula for all their Marvel films, but then Ant-Man came along, and it was a superhero heist film, and so like this is so different. And it's very super tongue in cheek. It's lighthearted.
It really works when they break the mold that they've set. Was it Winter Soldier that went with the whole covert war?
Black
covert
Ops.
action war.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
the 2 episodes in, I think Nick Frost plays the droid. He's like the droid pilot of the ship that these kids stumble upon, because it's all pirate themed, and the droid's name is SM-33. He's Mr. Smee, and it's Nick Frost. You abso-fucking-lutely know. He's up and at 'em for like half of an episode so far. He's already my favorite. He's so good, but the kids did great. I'm looking forward to more episodes. I'm actually like, it's okay. Like it's fun. It's you get that nice sense of adventure. It's very I feel like the
Goonies.
It's very Goonies, and it's very like Stranger Things, but like if you dial back like the serious tone so far. Again, still only 2 episodes, but it's just a fun adventure film so far. Where that leads into the second point, another glowing review, one that I have been biting my nails to the quick over, which is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Oh, the game.
The game, yes. The game that was written by I think it was written by Todd Howard, or he had like a hand in writing it, which I was going, okay. But Machine Games, so the guys behind Doom Eternal, Wolfenstein, and as in there's when I said that it was gonna be a first person game, I was like, okay, a little bit weird, but so I went in, did my best, my absolute college try best to not be biased because like Indiana Jones and the Mummy are formative to me. Like when I'm feeling bad, like chicken soup in those films to feel better, be that like feeling sick or an emotional slump.
Yeah.
I have my own indie hat. I've cosplayed indie before. I've got I've been to fucking Cairo, because of those films. They want me to go out and see the world. So when I sat down, the fresh install of the game, it's as every computer game does. You pick your settings and whatnot, and it just does a slow fade to black, and it dissolves in, and you just see like the Paramount logo, like mountain, and you just go right into the tutorial segment of the game, and the tutorial segment is the in media res from Raiders. They recreate the the opening of Raiders.
Cool.
They recreate the opening from Raiders in a 3D video game space, and you play through every moment of it as it teaches you the controls through the actions in
Cool.
that thing, and
love that.
and yeah, to the point like you're going there, you're first person view of Indy. You're sitting in front of the golden idol. You've got the bag of sand. It says press this button to balance the weight. So you pour out the sand, do the thing, and you do it. And then and it's like, oh, this is how you sprint, and because then you have to run, and and Troy Baker, if there was any doubt, if you anyone who is ever had a curiosity of video games and voice acting, you've probably heard of Troy Baker. He's one of the big like the titans out there. He is one of the Kronos of voice acting. Others being like the Nolan North and Matt Mercer, and the Critical Role crew, obviously. But the Troy Baker deserves a major tip of the hat for whatever voice coaching he did to sound just like Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah.
What it's in engaging in the game plays. It's a stealth game. If you're a fan of Dishonored or Thief, you're gonna like this game. But the crew did their homework. It's a big game. I'm about I want to say 5-6 hours in, because I coughed up the money to get it a few days early, and I've been playing it whenever I've got the free time. And it's it's a game that encourages the exploration, the adventure, and you can just stumble upon these little puzzles out in the world, just tiny little things that you would imagine that you'd find in some extended indie adventure. And despite being a stealth game, sometimes stealth doesn't work, and the fisticuffs the fisticuffs you feel like you're punching that that leather glove Hans underneath the dual prop engine, and it's punchy, it's satisfying, using the whip tricks. It's super intuitive too. There's gonna be people doing compilations of their best combos and shit. One that I really enjoyed being there's one of the big dudes there. He's a Italian black shirt. He has big old Billy Club. Is coming at me. So it's whip a smaller guy, pull him at me, punch him in the face 3 times, just move him in front of the big guy that bonked him on the head, and it feels like the bar brawls in Raiders, or
it feels like the movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, everything comes together so well, and it comes out properly December 8th. I don't encourage anyone to be as irresponsible with their funds as I have been, but I had the means. I was gonna bite the bullet, and I am so fucking glad I did. Because yeah, it's so just rich of good of fun story stuff and fun like action pieces and stealth pieces and inspirations for for games. Of one of the games I'm running on Fridays is using the Outgunned Adventure, which is it's two little mice is the a small Italian publishers that made it, and that is the Outgunned being like the action movie RPG, and Outgunned Adventure is the like, do you like the Mummy and Indiana Jones? Like, just say less, give. And
Yes.
it's been super validating. Especially because I'm like, oh, here's your adventure. Your first stop is to Italy, and it's the first stop after the tutorial. And Indiana Jones was there. I'm like, oh, I don't have enough writing
Oh.
experience to get on the writing crews, gaming companies, but no, it's I've been I can't wait to play more. Once our show's done, that's probably when I go back to doing. Provided my cat will stop trying to chew my wires. But that's enough rambling, enough like fangirling for me. So it's been I had nothing but good things to say on my end, which is rare. But we are only a minute over. Okay, so we did good this time. All right.
I was going to mention Arcane, but we're a minute over. So, and I've only got positive things to say about that glorious series.
I have yet to sit down and watch it, but I've heard.
I will not say much, but the pacing's a tiny bit quicker, but the storytelling impacts just as hard.
Yeah.
And you're in for a treat. Yeah. Honestly, beautiful animations, beautiful storytelling. Yes.
Yeah, that's I will always enshrine Arcane in just because it made that like that big paradigm is part of that big paradigm shift you're seeing in like a lot of like larger animation companies doing that, like the kind of stylized cell shaded meets 3D, which is perfection when it's done well. It's like Puss in Boots, Last Wish, Wild Robot, and
Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, the Spider-Verse films, all like like when that, oh, the frame rate's dropping to almost a slideshow, the shit's getting really good now. Like it's
yes,
it's a weird juxtaposition, but I like it. Yeah, it gives it like heft chunk. It makes things feel punchy, especially with I think it's what V is her name, who's got like the giant cyber fists. Like it makes sense.
Oh, Savika. Has thing, but Vi's got the two gauntlets and stuff. But and the thing is, in terms of it punches well above its weight. It's the only video game adaptation I can think in film-based or television-based media that's actually, for me, really worked.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of attempts, but they always seem to be, I don't know, missing the mark.
Also, like the underdog tale of the Sonic films, those did pretty well.
I haven't seen them yet to say, sorry.
As it was, I think also the proof that like with especially the original Sonic, when that original trailer came out, it's probably still somewhere out there in the Wayback Machine. They made Sonic look real, and it was cursed.
Oh,
and
yes.
It's proof that like sometimes cyberbullying works, because everyone on the internet cyberbullied that studio until they unfucked that choice. They made Sonic look right, and now it's like it is it's one of like the better like movie theater premiere production things. And now with the third one coming out soon, and they got Keanu Reeves to play Shadow the Hedgehog, which is wild.
Yes,
but that'll be a thing for me.
That's kind of crazy.
That'll be a thing for me to talk about in January, because I'm definitely gonna go see it. I'm either gonna hate it, love it. Either way, I'm gonna probably have like a nice like big can of Pacifico to sit down while I watch it, because it's one of those films. But I'm just about out of gas. I am once again thankful to all of our viewers, present and future, and I'm of course thankful to my lovely co-hosts. I think I am, as always, bringing everything you do to the table, because you guys always manage to find things that skipped my notice. But as our signings off.
It's great to share to get your points of view as well, because it's like, yeah, it's a good back and forth here.
Yeah, it's the and it's
Yeah.
especially like the thing with like the the United Healthcare thing. It hits different for people of us in the States or to deal with that more. But not to delve back into downers. But
Sorry.
no, it's my bad.
For Happy, what's a good gift to get your gaming for people that you game with? What would you like to see under the tree this year? Or whatever holiday you
you celebrate?
Yes,
because I celebrate multiple, so I have very mixed religion.
We normally have 2 family Christmases of most years, one for one side, one for the other side, and that sort of stuff. We got ours done a little earlier this year, so we've already handed out funky little gifts and that sort of stuff. But I haven't actually thought about what I would reasonably like for Christmas, because it's just like, it's always a good surprise to get what other people think you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hunt my own gaming stuff, which is all very niche and whatnot, but seeing what other people pick out for you is kind of like, oh, that's cool. Something I can use, whatnot.
Golly, I think for as the one giving gifts to my players, like a nice like set of dice. There's the like they've got like the ones of like the bullet die. It has like the revolver cylinder as the full set. I got that as a birthday gift this year from one of my players, and I love it. It's just fun to play with. It's just stimulation.
Yes.
And also, like, if you're playing like an adventure game like the one I'm running, it feels right. So definitely like something like that, or like a nice like gemstone or like nice wood set, like a good like
shiny math rock.
So artisanal ADHD rock. As
dinosaur bones.
Yeah, if I could get the mammoth ivory, but because it has ivory, it won't ship. They'll never ship those to California.
Oh yeah.
But but as the GM, I'll never turn down a nice
I've got 2 sets of
a nice like
metal
mid to high
dice.
shelf spirit. Is the best way to
These ones glow in the dark.
Ooh, but it's the best way to tell your GM that you're sorry. Provided they're not a whole sobriety thing. If that's a thing that's okay with them, it's certainly okay with me. It's like like a nice bottle of mezcal. Like you get advantage on your first roll until this bottle's gone. But
a good bottle of port definitely is,
yeah. That's a
good bourbon.
Yes. Bourbon and tequila
or rum.
Bourbon and tequila are my personal favorites. Who would have thought of the same alcohol taste as Johnny Silverhand? Don't read too much into it. But yeah, and also like it's around this time also like at least like PDF wise, I'll start gifting out like books like like starter books to people. Just because like it's the young. Here, now you don't have an excuse to not be adventurous.
Well, what I've done is I've put together little beginner packs, and I don't have like a folder kind of like this thing, but print off a couple of copies of these. What do they call them? The quick start rules.
Yeah.
And so if I've got someone who comes to me and says, "Oh, I want to play blah blah blah," I go, "Oh yeah, bang, here you go. Bring it back if you want to."
Yeah.
Yes,
quick starts are a great way to do it. Yes, sometimes I'll just be like, especially if it's like a something like that's a smaller press, or if it's like on a sale or something. Plus, like my tables nowadays are really small. I'm like most of my players player groups are like 3, so it's like it's a nice small manageable. So if it's something like I don't already have, if I already have it, I was like here's like look at access to my drive. Download anything you want, right? Just what I have, I'm sharing with you because you guys are my mainstay players. I love you guys like family.
Yes,
it's that's like the gift that keeps on giving, because if maybe one day I can play.
Well, I gifted some licenses to Fantasy Grounds, so Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. More people to play BDM so I can play.
Of course.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
No vested interest there at all.
yeah.
Not at all.
To all the tabletop people watching, that is the Christmas gift you can give to your DM is even if it's just
Run a game.
even if it's just a one shot or a two shot.
Yes.
Like one, I know it's scary, but it's just stage fright, and if you're with a group of friends that you've been playing with for a long time, you have nothing to fear, because if you've been playing with people for a long time, like they're gonna know how to play with you. So I encourage every player to consider, taking to give it the college try. You might end up really loving it. And there's resources out there on this channel, on the internet, on all abounds. And the thing is, there's as much GM advice as there is writing advice. Everyone's gonna give you a different take, and that's part of the experience. Is you figure out your own voice, and that's what makes it really powerful. As us forever GMs, we will hem and haw about like, man, I'm exhausted and I want to play, but it's like we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't also enjoy it as a labor of love. Some days it is more labor than love. You players know who you are, but it's it is an experience that I think everyone should just puff up your chest, pat yourself on the back, and find your favorite movie, file off the serial numbers, and run a 1 or 2 shot. Because that is what all the greats do. All the greats make a Frankenstein out of their favorite books, movies, and television, and they just weave it together, and ta-da, there you go. You have the keys to the kingdom. Go, do it, be brave. We believe in you. Happy holidays. But that's that is my gift to the masses. Which now I think I think I'm going to call us here. We've done our this is our holiday episode. Merry Nerdmas. And a
there you go. I like that.
And a geeky new year.
Yeah, Merry Nerdmas. A happy nerd year. Happy geeky nerd year. But we will hopefully be seeing you guys come the first Friday in January. Will be more of the same, but also
2025. 2025.
Yes.
Wow.
Buckle up, Buttercup. It is going to be
2025 starts with the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or WTF for short.
Yeah, it's
sorry,
I can't wait. But anyways, I have been your perpetually disheveled host, terrorized by the cat this time. Alex, it's been lovely to see you all, viewers, present, future, past, somehow. But Gomi, where can they find you?
Pretty much nowhere, really. I do wander across the interwebs. I have a couple of YouTube channels that I barely post to, The Impossible Emporium and the Tannhauser Connection. And I do frequent social media, although I try not to. But yes, and I'll try in the new year to actually pull my finger out and get some of those things up and running properly.
And Paulette, where can they find you?
I'm Paulette. You can find me across most socials as Belmuerte or Belmuerte66. And that's across almost all socials.
All right. So thank you both for being here, for bringing your news, good, grave, and everywhere in between. Looking forward to the next time we can reconvene in our little nerd council. For now, it is back to our proverbial bat caves and temples of doom.
Mm-hmm.
I will talk to all you guys later. Have a good one.
Cybernation Uncensored